Hello, and welcome to the Kosh. I am your host, Timber Smith, and the Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who have had an association with Oshkosh or the surrounding Fox Cities area. Kosh listeners, how are you doing out there today? Once again, you know what I'm going to say. It is a great Saturday morning. Well, it could be greater. I don't think if we could get a little bit of sun. It's a little dreary today. I don't know how I feel about it. But this morning, we're going to kick it off very different. And I'm pretty excited about this because if you listen to one of the past episodes, more recent past episodes, we were blessed to have had Tom Cannon, our poet laureate for the city of Oshkosh. And Tom, if you know me, if you're on and I can ask for something, I'm going to ask. So I totally was like, hey, Tom, can we get a poem? And he was like, yeah, I can do that. And guess what? He delivered. So we have a poem. So I'm actually going to read this poem and hopefully I do it justice. And I apologize in advance for any stumbling and slaughtering and respect to Tom. I'm going to do this, Tom. Okay, so the poem is called The Kosh. Oshkosh has it all: a wedding venue, in a bank, or in a mall, a neighborhood bar or two where you can throw back a few. Our city is working class. It can dress up or be posh. Let's talk about an impasse on the podcast, The Kosh. Oshkosh has a storied past to share. Oshkosh has a storied past to share a yarn on Timber's podcast. You'll play the word association game, and what Oshkosh needs is your proclaim. If you have a grievance, you can complete this sentence. What in the world is going on with? The person to tell is Timber Smith. Here's your chance to discuss or uncover an Oshkosh hidden gem, or a local place you need to rediscover. It's Wisconsin, so it won't be locale. But on Oshkosh, on the Kosh, get the 441. But on the Kosh, get the 411 on eating locale. Call out a villain to condemn. Most guests don't focus on the zeros, but name one of our Fox Valley's heroes. If your conversation muscles are limber, then invite yourself to talk to Timber. Have a conversation on the Kosh podcast. You'll be amazed how the hour will go fast. Woo! Thank you, Tom. We appreciate that. I'm going to post that on the website and also on the Facebook link. We're blessed. Hey, we're going big time, y'all. We got a poem for the Kosh. Okay, but now, without any further ado, you already know I have an amazing guest as always, and this week's guest is Ralph Harrison. Ralph, how are you doing?
Great. Nice seeing you. Finally getting down here. It's kind of exciting.
This is true. Ralph and I used to run past each other quite often during the herd games, and he was like, hey, Timber, I want to be on the Kosh. I was like, okay, Ralph, no problem. Hey, Timber, I want to be on the Kosh. I was like, we're going to make that happen. And we finally
did. Yes.
Finally got a chance to make it happen.
But we got her, yeah.
That's right. But you know what? Ralph was also busy out there connecting with the people in our community, campaigning, and he is super connected to the community is what I can say.
Yeah, I just enjoy it here. It's great. I came here back in 1969 from college. I'm from Rochester, New York, which is crazy. It's a long way home. But I played football. And I wanted to play football for the Titans. And Russ Young was here, so they asked me to come out here. So I came out here, went to school here. Went about 2 years, played football. But I just wanted to get to work. And my first job, which is kind of interesting, is at Shakey's.
Oh.
And if you remember the Subley boys, they were running around at that time.
You know what? I loved Shakey's. Oh. Shakey's is fantastic. That place was a good time, and their pizza was good.
Oh, it was great, and it was a fun time. I had pork chop sideburns and,
what?
that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah.
Not the pork chop sideburns.
Yeah. It was fun times, It was kind of a good time to be out there. And you remember they had those big pitchers of beer and soda and that. But that was my first job, and I really liked it there. But it was cool because the kids were running around. The Suplee kids were running around. Little I know that they would have all these different places right now afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So that was cool, and that was 52 years ago. And then my next job after that was then I went and I worked in the car business. And I've been 52 some years in the car business, starting out with Dahl Ford. And I did work for Bergstrom's. Finally, it seemed like every place I was at, Bergstrom was buying it, so sooner or later I got there,
But yeah, they do seem like it's hard to find a car lot that's not associated with Bergstrom, right?
And it was good, and I liked the car business. It was always good to me. I had a good time. I had 5 boys, lived in town here all the time. I love Oshkosh.
5 boys?
5 boys, yep.
Bruh. Seriously? Whoa. Okay, that sounds like an empty fridge.
Yeah, we were always trying to get girls, but it just never happened. So,
never happened.
No, so it was kind of a joke about that all the time. But but it was good. We like Oshkosh. I played a lot of sports. I love playing baseball. I love being part of the community. So that's kind of a little bit about me. I just like giving back. It's after you've been in the car business for 50 some years, and I was associated with the arena, which is another story I'll tell you about sometime. That's exciting. And I just like to give back now. So, you get to a certain point in your years that you say, it's time to give back to people, time to do something. So now that's where I'm at a stage right now. So,
well, let me ask this, Ralph, are you retired? Because you sure don't seem like it, because I see you everywhere.
That's
just saying.
No, that's true. That was kind of like a joke. I worked the last 10 years at Holiday and Fond du Lac as one of their managers for the used car department. But every time I decided to retire, Mike, the owner, said, "No, we got to find something else for you to do. We don't want you to leave." So it's kind of a joke that I took 8 times to retire.
Bruh. Seriously? 8?
Yeah. My boss finally said, "You're worse than Brett Favre, because you just don't go away,
Oh, my God, that's so good.
It was always fun. And then I think they gave me 2 or 3 retirement cakes, and then they said they weren't going to give me no more cakes. They're all done with cakes.
No.
And I laughed at them. But it wasn't about the cakes. I just, when you get involved in something, you put one foot in, but you can't just do half it. You got to do it all or don't do it at all. And that's kind of what happened to me. So I got back selling cars and helping other guys and doing training, and I just wanted some time off. But I didn't realize I would still get deeper in other stuff and community stuff. So that's where I'm at now. I'm retired, but I love volunteering. Celebration of Lights was the first time this year I had done. That was really great in the park. I don't know if you didn't see that. That was amazing. I do EAA was the first time this year. I do security on the side. I have Star Security in town. I try to do events like, it used to be Country USA, Rock USA, Mile of Music, if you remember all that. The library I do, the Grand Theater, and the amphitheater here, the Leach. There's so many different things there. And I just like to get involved in stuff. The farmers market, I'm really into the farmers market. That's another exciting thing.
I love the farmers market. That's just something really special that we have here.
Oh, it is, because Michelle that runs it, through the pandemic, we survived, where a lot of other places in Appleton, Madison, couldn't keep it going. She found a way to keep it safe. The numbers were down because people are back in their house, but there was more people out, and it was continually, and that was kind of good because people look forward to that. Getting their EBT tickets or their little coupons to get some extra foods, to buying the farmer's product, to little novelty stuff. So she kept it going. That was kind of exciting, and that's a big part of downtown. It's probably one of the biggest events that kept going all year. Yeah. It never took a break. So,
well, I think during that time period, with the understanding like that being outside was about your best option. People were definitely just trying to find ways to get outside.
Oh yeah. And it's, it was just nice to get away. We were cooped up. I was always at the Menards and all those places. I've never seen so many people did remodeling in that time.
I did. Hey, I totally did. This is the fruit of my remodeling during COVID, and the Kosh listeners know because we talked about it as I went through it, and it was something.
Oh yeah,
remodeling is it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Well, you learn how to do it a little bit, but then oh my God, it's a bigger project than I thought it was. Right?
Oh no. I'm not. No, I hire people.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's how you keep a happy wife, happy life.
Oh yeah.
You hire people.
Yeah. My wife always thought we could cut corners and do it ourselves, but no. I have never had a project that wasn't that was easy. They're all hard. So I can understand and appreciate what people go through to do in their job, and that's why you hire them.
You know what? It's hard to hire people. That's not even an easy thing. People think like being what I will call your own contractor, even that, because if it goes wrong, who do you blame?
Yeah.
You gotta blame yourself.
No, I got you there. No.
All right. Well, you know what? I normally would ask, tell us about yourself and what's your connection to the city of Oshkosh, but you've taken care of that. Is there anything else you want to share, Ralph?
No, I guess I get the thing that's kind of cool about Oshkosh that I like a lot is that, I'm from New York, and I go home every once in a while, every 4 or 5 years to see everybody, but it's hard to find everybody again.
Yeah.
But I can leave here 2 or 3 years from Oshkosh, come back, and people are right there just as friendly as they were before. They're very kind, that kind of stuff. And the other thing I saw that was recently, my kids all went to the University of Oshkosh, and they graduated from there, and they love it. But it was always kind of funny because when they were here, they said, as soon as I get out of town, I'm going.
Yep.
And they go out of town. But if you look in town, there's a lot of local businesses right now. The kids came back. Because I played a lot of baseball with their parents, and the kids were gone, were leaving. They all came back. I mean, like places like Beckett's, places, the Gibson now. There's a lot of places downtown. The kids came back and gave back to their community, which gets to show you how Oshkosh is so warm and welcoming, and it's a nice place to be. And I'm glad to see that everybody's coming back to it.
What I would say is like this region, because we see it in Appleton a lot. In this region, it's the boomerang, as we call it, the boomerang. People leave in their 20s to go find themselves or do whatever, to check it out, chase careers, professional dreams. But when they have when they start building their family and having children and stuff, this comes back, and it seems like a pretty appealing option when you start looking at your quality of life for cost of living and being close to your friends and safety and school system. I mean, there's just a lot of things that, even though you need to go on that adventure and figure it out, and God bless, hopefully you can do well on your adventure, figuring it out and expanding your horizons. Sometimes the answer was always right under your nose.
Right. And it's warm again. And you come back and your friends are here too. A lot of my sons came back, and now they're hanging around with their friends, doing things with them, and they were big into sailing over at the Oshkosh Yacht Club there, so they love sailing, so that was kind of fun too. So.
Well, that's another thing. Being surrounded by the water, this is a gift.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to jump into segment 1. Segment 1 is what in the world is going on with. That's where you start with the phrase, what in the world is going on with, and you finish with what's on your mind. So,
I guess the shortage of people to work and to volunteer. This last few years, I've been doing a lot of volunteering. There's a lot of organization. I think you and I could go 30 hours and do a half an hour here and there, and we couldn't cover everything. There's tons of stuff out there. But I think volunteering is really important to give back to your community. There's different groups that need it. There's a lot of different activities that can't continue because they don't have the volunteers to do it, or you see an event that's canceled because they didn't have enough people, and the shortage of jobs. I've been trying to figure that out. Some people give an excuse because they had that free money for a period of time. That was it. But
that wasn't it.
And students, I know they got to work because I was a student. I couldn't just go to school. I had to have a job or two. We had to do stuff. So was there that many of us baby boomers to get out?
Yes.
It had to be, because I just feel bad because there's plenty of stuff to do. If you remember a while back, they were talking about the government was going to raise the minimum wage to 15. Didn't have to do it because everyone's doing it already, 15, 18, 19.
Well, if you don't, you're not getting workers.
You're not getting any workers. But I just feel bad that there's, between volunteering and between, different jobs, there's things to do, and again, sometimes that goes into, we have poor community. We got to find a way to help them in some of these jobs too. There's a lot but that gets me because there's a lot out there. We just got to find a connection to everything.
It's of course, like most things, I think it's way more complex.
Yeah.
And there's just certain things that we just have to acknowledge. And, I think people try to find quick answers, quick simplified answers. And the answers when it comes to people are never that simple. We don't have people, and that's really what it is. And what people have to look at is the fact that we've been on a decline population wise for a while. And then the boomers are retiring like as fast as it gets. And they were a large part of the workforce, but they didn't reproduce themselves. So then you're having this large portion of the people pull out, and then you have our youth, and what their expectation for how they want to work is different. And the job market, we're in this transitional place where they got options and they're not settling. And I don't blame them for that. You know, so there's just, and then we also have to acknowledge the fact that a lot of people passed. We lost a lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of people passed.
Yeah.
And they're still passing.
Right.
And so there's something to that also, is we do have to acknowledge the fact that we just went through a pandemic and a lot of people did pass. So there's a number of answers. It's not a one-shot answer for it. And I think we have to come to the terms that what the future of the workforce is going to look like is going to be different. Right. We have to figure it out.
It's going to be different. But if you look on the flip side of what everyone is, the housing, they're building houses like there's no tomorrow right now. They're also now in apartment buildings. There's a lot of different companies coming to town. The fact that in that Pioneer area that we're talking about, they're doing not a lower priced rentals, a little bit higher, a little quality, because they figure there's more people coming. They're going to want better jobs and our opportunities. So there's a lot of building going on. You know, where these people got to come from someplace. So we're encouraging people to come here, I think.
Actually, what I think is happening with housing is this. There's a transition for what you need for housing because more people are working from home. So what you need is a better situation to work from home with. And what we would do is, because you could do your house, but your house was never set up to be your place of business also. And now people are like, okay, I need that extra room. I need that extra space. I need this extra place to put in a place where I can do conferences and meetings and stuff like that. The biggest demand right now in the workforce is the ability to be able to be virtual some of the time. And that changed what the demand of the house is. So you might have had one house and you might have had a room for each kid, but now if you didn't have a room or a space to really set up a computer setup or a business setup, you need that now. And so I just think the reevaluation of what the needs are, because there's going to be less places that actually have brick or mortar locations, where they don't need to run their business like that. And they don't need their staff to come in. My daughter actually works for a place right now, where majority of her, the staff is all virtual. Across the country. Yeah. Right. And so that means, you know, where I thought she'd be out in their offices, she's home probably about 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And that changed. So and so now, you know, if I'm doing a day a week or 2 days a week and she's home 3 or 4 days a week, we need an office space.
Yeah. No, that's true. One of my sons, he works at Mercury and he's in their office. He hasn't been there for a year. I think he gets 1 day a week in there. And now his wife is also working from home and raising 4 kids. Right. So there's a lot. So you need a little more room, and they're remodeling and fixing up a little bit there. So yeah, you're right about that. It's just that I'm still always pushing more volunteering too, because I deal with the older people, I guess. But I still see a lot of the younger people are looking for stuff, and they're still trying to figure it out. You're right, like that. But I just hope it turns, because there's a lot of great opportunities and things going on. And now that I'm with the county, the wall is just full of different opportunities now. So I just hope it turns. I hope we get more people. The other thing I noticed too is with a lot of things that are going on here now in town, the people that are brand new to come here love the place. They can't believe all the stuff going on. But the people that lived here kind of take it for granted. And that's one of my things that on my campaign I was pushing, that we need to appreciate what we got. Because we got a ton. And that's another topic. But we do have a lot here.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's different to truly appreciate Oshkosh. You've had to have lived somewhere else to understand what you have. Right. Because I think it's easy, and that's part of the boomerang, right? What we were just previously talking about, where people come back because they go out and they go on their adventure and they figure out, oh, okay, like where I moved to or where I'm at isn't offering everything that was where I came from. And, then you realize what you're missing, and then you might find your way back.
Right. And you're right in Oshkosh. You're right in the middle of everything. You don't go out that far to go to Milwaukee, head to Green Bay, head to Appleton. There's just a lot of opportunity. We're right smack in the middle of it. So.
Yeah. That used to be one of my big pitches for new students for UW Oshkosh. Yeah. All right. My what in the world is going on with is what in the world is going on with all the construction near campus?
It's something else.
Now, let me tell you why. I understand that in Wisconsin, construction is one of the many seasons that we do have here, along with our 4 different springs and our 7 different falls. But in construction season is probably the most consistent season we have in Wisconsin. But did you have to tear it all up at the same time? I feel like everything, like the whole thing is tore up.
At Freethree University, it's like a zigzag going through everything. It's just crazy like that.
Oh yeah, and now I used to love driving through it because UW Oshkosh is home for me, and but now no, I'm driving around because I've made the mistake of going and like, whoa, can't do that.
No, you go down one road. Yesterday I could go through, but now I can't. I got to go this way and then back over to this way. And how the students do it? I mean, just us driving through, the students got to be going. You got to find a place to park. You got to get to your class. You got to get past a dump truck.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there. But I mean, that being said, I do know they need it now, and that's serious. So
must have been because it was nice out. The weather started out nicer. Remember that 170 or whatever day that maybe they thought, okay, now we're going to start doing all this. But they started with one little road. The next thing I know, the whole thing is kind of back and forth.
What I'm hoping is that what it's really saying is it's going fast. If they're tearing it up fast, hopefully they're fixing it just as fast.
and it's going to be great because that road, a couple of them roads are pretty bad.
Yeah, they did.
Even at slow speeds, it was bad.
Yeah, no. It was needed, and I'm not quite sure that's what they're doing it for. I think it had to do with probably some steam pipes and energy efficiency across campus, but getting new roads out of it isn't going to hurt anything.
No, that's good stuff. Yes.
All right. So on to the next segment. Next segment is word association. This is where I say a word and you tell me what's on your mind, Ralph. So we always start off with food.
Oh, I love spaghetti and macaroni. I love anywhere I can go for that. I got to have my spaghetti first, I ask. The next is spare ribs. Oh my God, I love spare ribs. It's hard to find some real good spare ribs that'll kind of just peel off. Most of them are like warmed up and I don't like them. But I like that. And then coconut shrimp over at Fratello's. Oh, I love that stuff. I go there just for the snack.
Yes.
That's big for me. How about you?
Fratello's. I'm a fan of Fratello's, but it's about those chicken strips coated in the Captain Crunch. I remember when it first opened, and I was a student, and that was the thing. We truck it down there to go have those chicken strips because those by far, and they're still one of my favorites.
And they brought back those Mojo potatoes. Remember those?
Yeah.
The shreds that they had from way back in the shaky days. Oh, they had those there.
They brought those back?
Yep.
I haven't gone there in a while. Okay. But it is one of my favorite places, one of my favorite venues to go watch sports at in that field house. But I do want to have the conversation a little bit more about spaghetti because, look, spaghetti is done many, many different ways. Yes. How do you like your spaghetti?
I like it with meat sauce, good meat sauce. But most of the time, the noodles are good. Spaghetti noodles, I love it with the masticholi noodles. They'll create them, the little longer ones. I love the meat sauce on it, nice good meat sauce, and 2 to 3 meatballs. Gotta have those.
I was wondering if you were going to put in the meatballs. Some people do meatballs, some people don't do meatballs.
I mean, that's a meal in itself, and those meatballs are huge. But
usually,
I'm an Italian, so we had that in our family, and every Sunday that was it. It was a 4-course meal, but the spaghetti was there. So I always look for it, and I can't remember exactly. There was a place in town that used to be a really nice Italian restaurant. I think it's where Verb Credit Union is built.
It is, yeah.
Was it Vitali's?
Vitali's.
Yeah. Oh, and I used to die to go there. That was such a great place. But now it's kind of hard. They don't really have it as a main thing on their menu. It's always other stuff creative. So I look for that spaghetti.
There's the place over there by the movie theater. I know you know what I'm talking about. It's
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
It's not, the name's not coming to me right at this moment, but I like their food.
Yeah, it's straight across there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it'll come to me. And sure, when you get older, you get the Rolodex. I go through them all before I find them.
Yes, my Rolodex has come sooner in life than I wanted.
Yeah, it's just crazy how that is. But you're always thinking. But anyway, yeah.
All right. See, the reason I say spaghetti is because like my dad makes this amazing spaghetti, and no one can figure out how he does it. Shout out to Pop. Yeah. But it's all about, he does it where he doesn't do meatballs. It's the sauce and the meat, and the meat is really fine, and it sticks to the noodles.
Oh,
and it's
and the
it
smells.
is. It's perfect, right? And he does it, and no one knows how to make it. And he won't tell nobody. He won't tell you, huh? No,
son of a gun.
Isn't that how people do it?
Yeah.
If it's that good, they ain't gonna tell you.
No, not at all. No.
All right. Cocktail or beer?
Well, I'm a Corona man. I love Coronas. I like testing all the local beers, but I got a couple stories that'll tell you that. First of all, when I worked at Holiday, we used to always go out to have a couple of drinks, and 10 to 20 people at the from the dealership, and I would have Corona, and I could have 2, 3, or 4 Coronas be fine with me. I get home, my wife says, "I thought you said you were out drinking." And I said, "I was. You don't even smell like it." So from then on, I always drink Corona because it doesn't smell. And I don't get a hangover the next day.
Right.
Now, when I worked at the arena for that a couple of years there, I would try all that craft beer. There's a lot of alcohol in them buggers.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd have 2 or 3, and I was a little more tipsier, but I love them. But and they're bigger
hit
glass.
different. Yeah, they hit different.
From the herd games, you get there, you get 2 or 3, and then they cut you off at third quarter. No more for anybody.
Cut yourself off.
Yeah. So and I like a couple of my friends. We always like to go to different craft places. I don't know if you ever seen. They have these 52 deck of cards, and there's a brewery for everywhere in the state of Wisconsin.
No.
And Kevin and we go to those places and we punch one, you get one free and stuff. It's kind of cool, to do that. But there's tons of them here too. So.
All right, Ralph, you gotta hook me with one of these deck of cards because I don't know about this.
Oh, I gotta say about it. It's really cool. But then you get to see all the different breweries around the state, and so we tried everywhere we can to find a brewery that has something different. And where do they come up with the names of the drinks? Beating my dog. Throw my wife out of the house. Who's thinking of all that?
Look.
Anyway,
why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Okay, streaming.
That's confusing to me. Okay, my wife, we have cable in our house, and everyone is different. You buy one service, it's different. It comes in differently. And streaming, I could not figure out streaming. A lot of my friends don't have cable; they just have streaming.
Right.
So I haven't figured that thing out at all. I had one cable service. I'm not saying which one, and then I went to another one, and they couldn't do it because they had to buy certain TVs. So I haven't figured out the streaming. It's frustrating to me, but I love watching lots of movies.
Okay. What are we watching?
I like action. I like action ones. Right now we're watching the series for the Ozark.
Okay.
But they tease you. They get it going. The whole series goes. You get excited. Now there's like a delay. We're waiting to find out what happens after that. And then my wife likes to watch comedians. We try to find some different comedians on there and try to series. And people tell us about series or watch a series. But we have our favorite 911, the police shows or the fire shows or some of the comedies good. But some of the old ones are still good. Like, they're just, there's a lot of stuff to watch.
There is a lot.
You don't
of
need
stuff
to go out anymore. You can do it right from home half the time.
Well, the beauty of streaming for me is the aspect of on demand. Like, you're not forced to watch what the network wants you to watch. You can watch what you want to watch when you're ready to watch it. So you can press that button and start streaming, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and we're playing with it now. I mean, who needs 6 TVs? We got 6 TVs in our house. It's like, what the heck, But we watch sports. We watch different events. We take a TV outside and watch it at our pool area. So, try to do all that stuff. Especially the last couple of years, you're more by home a lot. So you're doing things with friends closer to home. And
that's true.
You're finding out about all these things. So I didn't know about much of them except for just turning on and off regular cable. So I'm learning, I'll tell you.
Well, I'm going to tell you, from everything you've shared with us, Ralph, I don't know how you have any time to watch TV anyway because you're busy.
I know. It's just crazy stuff. That's all I know. But yeah.
Shop local.
That's another campaign I'm on. Remember I told you before that a lot of people come here brand new and love what's here. And I think sometimes the people that are here, we forget what we have, and we should shop local. There's a lot here. And we need to kind of revisit some of these places or events or activities or things that we have. So to me, between the different events that they have, the amphitheater is another one. The Leach Theater.
Yes.
I mean, they use it, but only you use it for Waterfest, which is a great event. I love doing that.
No, there's a lot of stuff that happens over there.
But a lot of people don't know about it, I guess, or something, because they ask me all the time, how come they're not using it more?
Oh, no. It's someone who lives here and hears it.
That's right in your neighborhood.
Yeah, it's right here, right? We hear it. They have stuff there all the time. There's movies where neighborhood movies and all the kids can come. They show kids shows. There's smaller concert venue type things where music things are done. I mean, it gets used all the time. And also, I'm not going to tell you, but that might be where I like to go fishing. Don't get no ideas out there, Kosh listeners, but it might be near where I like to go fishing. So like the venue gets used quite a bit. I'm not sure at the marketing reach on the things that are happening, but everything that I ever see happen there, there's people there.
Oh yeah,
Not as big as Waterfest, of course, but it does get utilized probably a lot more than people know. And I just happen to know because this is my neck of the woods.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Yes. Okay.
Diversity.
That's an interesting one. I guess for me, it seems like when I first think about it, it seems like people are putting us in groups, and I don't want to be in groups. I came here in 1969. The year before was the riots in town here, and I was an out-of-state student, so of course my tuition went up. But the thing is, I've seen a lot of growth here, but it shouldn't divide us in groups. We all should be able to get along and get to know each other's background, what we're doing, our issues. Or I think we need to get closer to each other. Instead, I think sometimes the first reaction is to put us in groups and put us against each other instead of putting us all together so we know more. We need to know more about each other. We need to know more about what we've gone through, what we did. And you can sit there and say you know what they go through. Nobody knows what everyone goes through. So you need to go. I came out in New York, and I had tons of friends. We hung around, we did stuff. So I never saw that until I came here a little bit. And now I'm seeing more people come out and more different groups. I think if I remember right, unfortunately, at the time when they had the riots, there was something about some group there, if I remember right, before. So I think we come a long way, but I think we need to get closer to each other, know more about each other.
What year are the riots?
I think it was 67 or 68, if I remember right, in Dempsey Hall or something. If I remember right.
No, that was...
was that right?
That was, I want to say it was... There is a term for it, and I want to say it's Black Thursday.
Okay.
And that's where they basically expelled 97 African American students from the university because they went into the chancellor's office and made demands as far as curriculum and expectations of things because they were being denied things that they were supposed to get. Like their food tickets.
Yeah. Okay. That makes no sense. I don't know where common sense and stuff like that.
It was just one of those things. The university itself. Well, it's just the region. The region was ready, but if you have this university here and it's a public university, and everybody wants to further their lives and get an education. With the university is going to come diversity.
Do it. Yes, it should come. It should. You welcome it. I mean, why would you?
You're supposed to welcome it.
I know, but I mean, it's just the first reaction is, oh, I'm not sure why. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. They should welcome it, period.
I think, and I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying in the fact, like, it is a matter of getting to know each other. But I think one of the bigger issues that tends to happen is people get in their silos and they don't even realize they're in their silos. And silos is a real easy thing that ends up happening, siloing. So like it starts with you and your partner, right? And you have your silo and you have a child, and how you decide to bring up your child creates a silo. And then where you send them to school is going to be a bunch of people that look like you, think like you. So that's a silo. And then where you what you decide to do professionally is going to be a bunch of people that look like you and think like you. So that's another silo. And then where you decide to worship is a bunch of people that look like you and act like you and think like you. So that's another silo. So after a while, you've put so many layers onto your silo of life. You forget there's a lot of difference out there, and you think what you constantly are looking at has to be right. But you just haven't realized you're siloed and that there's not a right or a wrong. Oh. It's just difference. And it doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes it different. And so I always say the number one thing that can be done to get rid of some of the things around here is you got to change up your life. You need to bring in people, break bread with different people. You need different neighbors that don't look like you or do the same things that you do. You need to work in a place where there's different people that don't look like you or think like you. That's the only way that you figure it out. It's what happens in the military. The military takes everybody and throws them together. Right. Oh, yeah. And guess what you figure out?
Get along.
No, we're all the same.
Same, yeah. Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, there's not really, we may eat something a little different, we may talk a little different, but what our basic wants and needs for what we want for our families and our children, and what we think about how we would like a nice job and affordable living and stuff, it's the same. There's just these little identity things that make difference.
Right.
But those are the things people tend to focus on.
Right. Yep.
And so I'm with you.
Okay. Yeah. I think you just gotta get in their shoes or know what they're about. You need to get more involved, like you said, and change your friends. I mean, their friends are the same friends you've had all the time, and they have a different attitude. But how do you know? I've always been, no matter what anyone ever said about anything, I want to know myself and get involved, talk to people, be a part of thing, church, whatever you want to be a part of, or groups. That's what you get as first start. I think we all have to do.
Yeah, and well, you due to the fact that you've been in the car sales business for 50-some years, look, you got to know people, all sorts of people,
and all different kinds of people, in all different situations. Yeah.
And so, like, you, whether you want it to be or not, you're exposed to a lot of difference.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. A lot. Yeah.
Okay. Community.
I love this community. This community is they're always trying to think of things to do to bring more people together, different events. They're always outside the box. Remember, I told you a lot of those kids that are coming back here and doing things. I think there's one floating around now, the Dora. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Yes, I did.
Which is a great idea about community. Because I did a lot of security, like Mile Music and stuff like that. They have big events and they're very safe and they're big. So things like that could be around here and they're safe and people want to be safe. So I love the community because of that. They're always involved. They're always looking for something different. There's a lot of interesting things starting up. And that's why I said on my campaign too, was that, we need to appreciate what we have. And we need to try and use it more, share it more, develop it more. We don't have to bring something new. We got tons here to make it exciting. I was just looking the last couple of days, and I don't know if you saw my website, but I took pictures of all the different businesses in town. I don't know, 50 of them that I went to and promoted each place, talking about this place.
Well, I know that I saw you were everywhere there while you were campaigning. Like every time I saw you were popped up or I saw your car somewhere.
and everybody would make a comment on it, which is good. But now, the last couple of days, I've been looking, the Pioneer area, they're starting to dig there. Mm-hmm. The old Miles Kimball building. Yep. They're doing a lot of building over there. It's good to see that. Also, too, on the same area, part of town, is I think the one along the Pioneer Drive that used to go to the Pioneer.
Yep.
I think that's going to be the River Walk or something like that.
So they just tore all that up.
Yeah. And that's going to be, and they're going to be different. But I mean, to see that apartment buildings are talking about growing. So there's a lot of activity going, and they're all starting to plan different activities. That's why I was hoping they'll have enough volunteers and people to help out so that some of these events we had will still continue this year. So.
Oh, I think so. This region, there's a lot that happens over here, but there's a lot of people over here. So, and it's a pretty involved community. As someone who's lived over here over 20, mm-hmm. It's particularly you've got a lot of involved people. There's certain things to me that will push because of the families that live here. Things such as the staples of Oshkosh, like Washington Elementary, the the park, things where neighborhoods are centered around and there's synergy, and it'll expand to downtown, no doubt. You know, there's a lot over here, and a lot of people may not even understand. You know, the why, the amphitheater. I mean, there's a lot packed in this place where they're starting to develop across the bridge, and so the people are here. Their volunteers will be there.
Have you been in that 404?
I went there.
Isn't that really cool?
That is really cool. You know, and it's funny. I had only been in there one other time, but I did go there for their grand opening, and I thought that was really sweet. To go downstairs and to stand in the safe, like that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that bar back there, and then you're sitting at a table in the back there. I mean, it's really cool. But you forget about that stuff. And when Johnny Depp did that movie here, you kind of missed all that stuff that was here, and it's right there downtown. You know.
Yeah.
So that was an exciting place. So.
Well, it's exciting that people are repurposing things and opening it up, and like they're breathing life into things that have been here for a long time. And it's the brilliance. Like you don't necessarily you don't have to build something new.
No,
let's repurpose what's been standing here for a long time and give it a new life.
Well, that Gibson building, have you been in that one too?
Oh yeah. Well, we had Will Amaker. We had Will, who's the food and the food and drink manager, as one of the guests. And so I went and checked it out, and that place is gorgeous.
Oh, it is. And and of course I go back too far, but that used to be Gibson's there.
Oh yeah.
And in the corner there, where the main to the main street is, that's where Mr. Gibson had his office, and his dog was there for years and years. That was his staple place there. But to see it used in completely different than what it was meant to be, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing venue.
Yeah,
and I'm doing all these new venues.
And there's a lot of them around town. That's why I said you go to different places. It's just cool to see what they've done and the changes, and just even you take Beckett's. Yes. I remember when Park Plaza was here. You remember that way back? Were you here?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was first indoor. It was supposed to be indoor, mall. And in the back area, they had it set up where boats would come in. That's where the level went out. They also had the food court. And for me, in 1971, the Boys and Girls Clubs, we had a dance-a-thon there. And inside the ballroom, or it's called the City Center now, I think. And you put your hands on, and I have a picture at home still with the two people that still live in town, won the car. They were going to college, and they won the car. Each one won a car from the dance-a-thon. But that was all the things, when you look back in 50-some years, it's really exciting what has changed and what's gone and what is still here.
Oh, yeah.
What to appreciate.
One of the ones I also like, I really like the Howard. And I really appreciate how they repurposed the Howard. I used to live in the building directly across the street, which they tore down now, and it's the expansion of the Y.
Okay.
But I love those bowling alleys in the basement. Like that's such a good idea what they did there, and just what that venue became. So what's being developed over here on this side of town, it blows me away.
Yeah, and just the community is growing really big, and people are giving back to it, which is cool. It's good.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so the Kosh Hidden Gems.
Wow. Well, to me, again, because I'm part of the farmers market, I think that's a hidden gem downtown. I mean, again, through the pandemic, it made it through there. And it seems like every summer, everyone is eager to get outside. The numbers, 10,000, 15,000, we get such a turn on that. And this year, I think Michelle said there's the number of people that want to be a part of it are growing, a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Someday they're going to talk about another street because there's 75 other vendors sitting trying to get in there. People love it and I work it every Saturday because I'm on the board with them. But it's cool because so many people come from out of town, or they're either their students are here, or we've never been here. We never heard of this place. How did we miss that? Which is good because it's expanding out and getting people. But it just picks up momentum. It picked it up during the summer, and it picked it up during the winter when everything else was kind of closed. So I think that was probably one of the biggest gems that I thought that I look forward to in this town. Trying to think if there's so many other things. I mean, there's so many different people that are gems that are producing stuff. Our COTS program now is coming into town here. The warming shelter is developing. There's a lot of different things that people are are available to people, which is going to give back to the community. That the Leach Theater is just amazing there. I love going to those concerts that are there all the time. I do miss the 4th. I used to live down on Merritt by the Menominee Park. I do miss the 4th of July out there, when they used to have that. I know the neighbors, it was kind of not friendly, but I miss that. That was really a great event. 4th of July, the Sawdust Days, all that stuff was kind of cool. That stuff was good. But I hope they bring it back because I love the fireworks.
I want to send a shout out to Dan and Kim because Dan and Kim used to own one of the big Victorian houses. We were friends with them, and it was over there right in the entrance. It was across from the entrance coming in from the side of Menominee Park. And so we could sit on their lawn and watch the fireworks, and it was just the best. So I do miss that. I don't know. Is the fireworks, see, didn't know if they were going to keep the fireworks where they're currently located, because right now they're out by the the arena, right?
Yeah, they were doing something out on the island by Pioneer, but now I don't know if they're going to, because that property's different now.
And I feel like, the one thing I heard from people was people liked the ability to be able to go park over there and see the fireworks, and was an easy in and out kind of deal where, Menominee can be a little twisty turvy during that 4th of July time period, but it's an amazing park to spend that day in.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to, in that one area now, it's parking now, or was at one time, but because I lived at 1219, Nan Adams used to have the house that was only house in the park by the baseball diamond there.
Yes, I know
it used to be
the one.
The Sharps' house for a long time, and water fountain in the back to drink when you played baseball. So everyone went out there, but then it became parking there when they decided that there wasn't enough room. That kind of changed.
There's still that one house that's still out there.
It's still there, yeah. They sold it, yeah. But it's just a nice area. And then I think, didn't they, even the zoo or the playground got changed again. I was there when they built it.
It was updated.
Updated, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I just, we walk Bosco, the podcast dog, through there quite a bit. We were there the other weekend, and oh my God, I think there was 200 kids out there. They were just having a blast.
Gives them an opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great resource. Okay. What's the Kosh need?
What's the Kosh need? Is that Kosh is you or Oshkosh?
I'm not.
Whatever.
I'm Timber.
Oh, you're Timber. You're not Kosh.
That's right. I'm not the Kosh. The Kosh is the Kosh.
Okay.
What's the Kosh need?
I guess, boy, that's a tough one. I got to think of there. But I think, as per Oshkosh, I don't think there's not much here we need. I don't think. I mean, I love what you're doing. I like it to be, what you're broadcasting. You're bringing more awareness to people. I think people need to know more what's going on in town here. In my campaign, I went to different doors. A lot of people didn't know certain things or didn't hear it. They don't have a computer, which I don't believe it, or a cell phone or that stuff. So they need to get more of what's happening in town. So it seemed that was just a general thing. I'm not sure I know, or where do you guys put it, or where do I hear about it? Where, people either got to get out of their little dome there or something, or get out and find out what's going on. But I mean, that's to me, Oshkosh. I think this DORA program would be good because it'd get more attention downtown. The other thing I guess I would think was the arena. I love the arena. That's another thing that should get going again. They need to work on that and getting their respect back or trust back with all that. But I love the herd, that kind of stuff. But I think just making people more aware of what's really going around and to appreciate what we have.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. But I do think, I know we put in a great effort. Shout out to Amy Albright. She definitely is always working super hard. And her team, an amazing team. But I do think just communicating the things, but I think the difficulty isn't necessarily that it doesn't get communicated. It's how you need to communicate, because everybody's receiving their information differently.
Yeah.
Right.
True. Very
and
true.
so
yeah.
Nobody's looking in the same space for how they are receiving it. Right. Some people are social media. Some people are still They need to see it in something like the Examiner. Some people, there's so many different ways. Like before, I feel like in the past, in the long past now, there was only so many ways things were communicated, so everybody was looking in the same spaces. Now you have a choice on how you want to receive information, and so that makes it harder to market to people and say, this is happening here, because everybody's not doing it. So like if the people whose doors you are knocking on and they're saying we don't have computers and phones and everything's getting done on social media, those people are missing a whole lot of the stuff that's getting out there, because social media is one of the easiest ways to market right now, and so I don't know what the answer is. I do like the idea of some type of centralized something that says, okay, this is what's happening in the Kosh, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one of my friends were talking about, we have the Herald paper, which is really good. I love that paper. But an entertainment magazine, something like that, because, they and the Herald, I love the Herald, they always put down what the events are. But if advertisers wanted to put an ad there, if you remember, there used to be an entertainer up the valley, so you find out different activities and things going on. Something like that, or there's so much going on, it's hard to do. But I mean, social media is the way to go. I mean, that's people. I get so many people. Well, I hear about Facebook and I hear about all this stuff. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not being a part of that. But that's how you find out what's going on. If you don't do it, you don't find out.
Right.
You got to be in the middle of that stuff.
Right. Facebook is what you make it. Right. You can turn off or on as many things as you want to. You can associate or unassociate with as many things as you want to. If you just want to utilize it as something to know what's going on locally, you could totally set it up that way.
And it's powerful. Because when I started in 2009, when I started at Holiday, they told me I couldn't work there unless I knew how to use Facebook. And I had no idea. I didn't do it at all. Now I can't get off the thing. I got so many friends and I do so many contacts. But you'd be surprised how many people that in New York, California, like your show here, people find out and hear about stuff. But you got to be out there. You got to be involved. You can turn it on, light off, but you don't have to listen to all the garbage or whatever out there. But you need to be to be active, to be part of a community or be a part of what's going on. You need to know what's going on, and you have to be part of it. And it's not bad. I love doing it. I love promoting the town. I can't any no regrets. None of it. You always get that one person that comes out. Well, what about this part? You're looking at the negative side. Why don't you look at the positive side? Anyone can look at the negative side because everything has a negative. But look at the positive, and the positive brings more excitement, more things, and that's what I'm about. Period.
Absolutely, I like that. Okay, well, you know what? I do believe. One more thing that we have to do. It is time for the Naughty/Heroes Corner. This is your opportunity to nominate somebody to the Naughty, or it doesn't have to be a somebody. It could be an organization. It can be whatever you make it to be, to the Naughty or Heroes Corner. So, Ralph, what do you got?
Well, let's see here. For Heroes, I really got to reach out to Sarah and Kelly. Those two girls ran for the city council or the school council just recently. They went through a lot and they worked real hard. They went on a bike ride all over the city. I don't know if you saw that. It was crazy.
I saw pictures.
Yeah.
I saw pictures.
I mean, they really put their heart and soul into something there. It was a tough election. It had quite a few people came out, but I give them a lot of credit for what they went through, door knocking to being involved with other groups and communities, doing a lot of interviews. But they did a lot of work to get within 60 votes of being there. And I hope they taught me a lot because I hung around them a lot. We did a lot of stuff together. They had a lot of knowledge. They have a lot of heart and a lot of feeling. And they just really care about the kids and they care about the school system. So I think that was great. So I reach out to them because they really taught me a lot, so that was cool.
Shout out to Sarah because she was a former guest on here.
Yeah. And she, between work and a job, the two of them are different things that are going on and to give back to community. And they brought a lot of stuff out because a lot of stuff we didn't know about or didn't have the feeling or didn't know what was going on. So I think that's fresh. That brings the community to be more knowledgeable about what's going on. So those two, I got to give them a lot of credit. They did a great job. I hope they run again too.
All right. Fair enough. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. And now we go on to the good stuff.
Oh boy. Okay.
You know,
I know.
All right. And now. All right. Everybody knows this. That just makes me happy every time we do it. It is time for the topic of the week. So, Ralph, this is your opportunity to talk about your topic of the week. And your topic of the week is?
Elections. And this was good for me because I learned a lot. And first of all, if you ever want to run for an office, don't be afraid. It's a lot of work, but I would do that again. After being in the car business for 50-some years, I felt that a lot of people helped me. They trusted me. I dealt with a lot of different situations that I felt it was time to give back. So the election, which I started, I think when John Damo gave me a spot as the Human Resource Board, I learned that back, I think it was in October. So for 6 months before the election, I learned a lot about what's going on, the money that's being spent in the county. I got to meet a lot of different people. And then with my election, I found out the election process about collecting signatures, going door to door, finding about what the issues are, what people thought. And the other thing that I got out of the whole thing is that, spring elections are tough ones. They're really tough ones. If there's nothing big on the ballot, they don't show up. They don't get a lot. I mean, I think when I ran in my area, I had like 4,700 people live there. About 3,300 are voters. I think in my election, we had 1,095 voters came out. So that's about a third almost, In the past, they told me you'd be lucky to get 10%. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to knock on 3,500 houses and that's all they're going to get, But when you do that, the people, some didn't know what was going on. Some didn't care because I don't really vote or that. And when I got to see a lot of different sides of it, you got to see what your competition is. The signs work, but people recognize you, talk about it. And then I'm, again, one of 36. So there's 36 different board supervisors. But people say, well, I vote for you, Ralph, but I'm not in your area. Well, that's not the point. The point is there's 36. I wanted people more aware of what was going on. Do you know what the county is? No, nobody did. Do you know who your supervisor is? No, I don't. Do you know what the issues are? No, I don't. So that was big to me, that if you run, that you try to get that experience out, get those people to know what's going on. If you get some of that, you did your job, is what I think, And then after that, I got to be with other people, because this is the first time in the board that 16 people retired out of the board and replaced it. So our county board got changed a lot. This is huge. So that is because the people spoke a little bit. People got out of there. There's differences in ideas. So people need to know that what's going on to get to that. So I encourage you to run, because a lot of these people that just retired, nobody ever ran against them. So, that's apathy again. We were talking about a little before, but when you have half of the board, nobody runs against them. It's just they don't care. They've been there for years. So let them do that. Well, you can't do that. Fresh ideas are good. I think new people coming in. I always think, when my term is done, or a couple, 3, whatever, it's time for a young person to go in there and find out what's going on. But I think the elections are important. You should get more involved with what's going on. I can't make everyone. You can't make everyone do it, because one supervisor says, you're not going to make everybody happy and you're not going to get everybody to vote. So don't even try to do that. But for me, I feel if I can get people to listen and wake up and hear and think about something, that's great. And then I even went to the college. We went in there. They had a seminar of a group there, and we sat around, and all of us went there and talked to them. I wish more would have come out, because in that area it's a tough one. That's an area in the college that you could run for a supervisor, and a lot of times there's hardly any votes in there because you don't know who it is, and a lot of the students don't live here; they live out of town. Some of them are the first time ever voting, so they weren't really sure. But I just didn't realize how much there wasn't people thinking about it or getting involved. And I would recommend it to anyone to learn. You don't have to go years like these guys go now, they're 10, 20, 30 years. You could go a couple, 4 years and learn about what's going on. And I think we need to give back. And I would recommend anyone doing that. So, but that's my thought on that.
Okay. I agree. I think some people don't either know how to make that happen. It might seem overwhelming. When you don't know the process, you might say, well, I would run, but I don't know how. Like, that's a big one. Yeah. Like, if you don't know the how, it's a good excuse, right? If you don't know how, it's always a good excuse. So how do you make that happen?
Well, the 16 that replace them are all new. They have not been there before. So the thing you do is you go to meetings, or you get together with a group with an idea that you have. That's how we did it. We had a freedom group that we kind of hung around together, and we learned about what was going on and what the campaign was about. And then from there, you just say, okay, I'm going to do it or not. Then you got to go collect anywhere from, in our areas, 50 to 80 signatures. And that's door knocking to find out, and you'll find out some people had COVID, wouldn't talk to me. Some people were busy, don't get involved. And a lot of people don't know you're just signing my papers to get me on the ballot. You're not voting for me. So you have to get that kind of across what your thought is. And then, it's a nonpartisan elections, these are, but people sway one or the other. Our country is split, how it is. So the next thing is you got to, what your stand is going to be, what your kind of thoughts are, because people want to know, even to sign your name, to put you on the ballot, they want to know about you a little bit. So it just takes, and it really isn't that long. I mean, it's a lot of walking. I mean, I think I figured like 2,800 houses I went to, and it was fun. I did it, and I liked it. I mean, some didn't come, some weren't home. During the day, people are working, don't want to talk to you, and that kind of stuff. But every person that talked to you was interesting because they got to know them. And for me, that helped me at the end, because by doing that extra walking, that got me more votes. But it isn't as hard as you thought. It costs a couple of bucks, again, because you don't get paid for this job. You don't get paid for it. So, and you spend less than $2,000 of your own money for signs and literature and things like that. After that, then you get too many parties are giving you money, or different groups and that. So you don't want to do that. So you go into lower end. But it's really just your time and getting your word out and your people, and getting to know your area.
What was the thing you were most surprised by as you knocked on the doors?
The people are really nice. I was kind of figuring, oh boy, I'm going to get the door slammed in my face. And, some people have that sign there, no soliciting, don't come in. And so, but they were really warm. They were really interested to find out, because they had no idea. I mean, I think the majority of the houses I did stop at, I don't know who's my supervisor now. So it was that way. And then after that, it was more the health. The health thing was important to them with the pandemic, and worried about things like that. And, they really didn't know what the county board does. They really don't. They think it's like the city council that does a lot of stuff, but they're different. They're different because we do really the county does anything the state doesn't want to do. So they gave it to us, and then we administer and keep an eye on it and do that kind of stuff. So, but that was the biggest thing, that they were really warm, because when you're going out of your box, your area, you're kind of scared, like, oh God, I never did this before. I mean, but once you do one or two or three, the people are warm and nice. And I don't think I got anybody slammed. I had one person that was for the other guy, and that was it. But other than that, pretty much everybody was pretty warm, and I liked it. And it was fun. It really was good exercise, too, I'll tell you. I did a lot of walking. But get to see a lot of people and talk to them, get to know your neighbors. Again, it's one of those things, that people need to get out of their house and get to know their neighbors and friends.
I do think that's important.
Because I hang around with I help her as Frankie Joe. Frankie Joe Moscato. I don't know if you know her from American Idol.
Absolutely.
She does the suicide thing there. And she taught me that 5 or 6 years ago, that, you should get to know people around you.
Yes.
Because the more you know, because when things happen like that, I always feel bad about the suicide thing, that how did it get so far? I mean, how did we not know that he was feeling or she was feeling that bad? Or in the car business, I lost a couple of young fellows that were on drugs and they went through treatment. I had no idea. They were a good salesman, but I didn't know. And I just felt I got to get more to know my people around me, or my friends, because I shouldn't be a surprise. I should kind of know how you're feeling and what's going on. And that's again, by going to neighbors, getting out of your comfort zone, to get involved in more stuff that get you closer to what's going on. So I just, that's important to me. So.
Shout out to Frankie Joe. Yes, I worked with Frankie Joe. She sung the national anthem for us for our our veterans football game at UW Oshkosh. So yes,
she does amazing stuff.
She is be kind.
Because
she is a great young lady. Yeah. Yes, no doubt. Yeah. So shout out to Frankie Joe. Okay. See, I'm so curious about this in some ways because I'm with you. I would like to see more people go out and run. I think it's important because here's my thing. What I don't want is kind of like what we were talking about earlier. I don't want a bunch of the same type of people running, where it's just all of this type in their silos, right? I want every single representative to be different, so there is a diversity of thought adding to the county or the city board or whatever the situation is. Because here's the thing that's somebody who's lived here for 30 years is my fear is Oshkosh has changed, but who's in power representing these, whether it's county board or city, hasn't. And so if everybody's the same and looking the same, and everybody is in their silos with the same people and the same ideas, those other people, because we're changing, as you talked about and you've mentioned a number of times now, like people are coming in. We've been changing for as long as I've ever lived here, and we're going to continue to change. It's not, you can't put the jack back in the box. There is no going backwards from this point forward. So how do we make sure that we get more variety of voices in these decision-making places, the boards, the processes, these councils? That is where I'm like, that's what we need.
Right. Well, when we were talking about the 16 got changed or replaced now, the biggest thing that a lot of people that have been on the board for a while or people that had left said, well, we're going to miss out on all this experience. I said, okay, that's great, but change is good. Okay.
Change is good.
Now with a lot of these committees they have, you can have a citizen be on there. So now you're not a supervisor or not a council person, but you can be on a board and you can keep your experience still going that way. But we need to have fresh changes. And I tell them all the time, same thing in the car business. You know, there's a certain time you're going to retire and get out of there, whatever business it might be. You're going to get out of there. And you should have trained or had other people that you're grooming for that idea. I wasn't feeling bad. The person you're going to go in there is going to do just as good, has had different ideas, fresh ideas. So why be afraid of that? You know, change is good. And we need that change because, like you said, you get people that are 20 and 30 years and they're doing it the same way. And yeah, we like what he did and I like the voice and the stuff he does, but it's time to change because you can't keep going that way. Life changes, the city changes, people are changing.
The world changes.
It's changing. So like you can't. And then sometimes you get people that are stubborn. They're stuck in that area and I don't care what, we're not going to do that. We're not. And you almost have to force them out. I mean, there was one guy, I think 36 years or 30, whatever it was, he never was opposed. No one ever ran against him, which is great that they have that much confidence in him, but why? You know, I don't understand. So you encourage people. And I think the biggest thing is for us, if we hadn't had this group, we didn't get to know a lot. So, I mean, get into a little political. I mean, everything's political now. You can't get away from it, even though you say it's nonpartisan or you're an independent. It's not true. But just get to some groups, get to find out what's going on. That doesn't mean you have to go and be like them or vote like them. You just get the information to find out about it. And you got to get out of your box. You got to get out of, you know, every one of us does something that, you know, I'm sure when you started doing this wasn't a little bit new to you and you were kind of a little nervous or whatever, and you got it and you did it.
Oh, no, it was brand spanking new. There was no background. This was, Timber, we're going to buy some podcasting equipment and then we're just going to try to start interviewing people and see how this turns out.
Sure. And it got exciting and interesting, and now you got it flowing. It works out good, and you got a pattern. But you got to do that. And I think people need to get more involved in all that. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to say it's not, but the work is good because it's rewarding, because you are getting involved. You're getting people to know what's going on. And the more you get people involved, the more they question. And I think then I've done my job, because the more questions, the more input, the more people are talking about things. I did my job. And I was excited to see the 16 or 17 people. I got to know them. They're from all different walks of life, from young to old, to being experienced, to having some idea. And all of us are brand new, you know. So it's a new path pattern and things you have to do, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I look for it, and I would encourage someone else to do that. And if you ever want to do it, let me know. I'd be glad to tell you what it's about.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it here straight from Ralph. If you want to run, we're holding Ralph accountable. Right, we're gonna ask Ralph, how do you make that happen? Because I think a lot of it is just procedural. Like if you just don't know what to do or who to ask, how to do it. So that's a thing. So that's really what I was hoping to get from this. Yeah. I appreciate this.
Appreciate it. It's been fun. Really great time. I look forward to this. And like I said, a car salesman, I can't keep my mouth shut. So I'm always talking all the time. But you deal with people all day, and that's be your personality. I mean, I just see it so much, and I'm going to go on again, but look at everybody's today when everybody walks by you. How many people don't look you really in the eye, or they kind of walk by and they look the other way. I say hi. My wife said, you're going to get in trouble. You can't say hi to all these kids and everything. I always say hi to everybody because you need to be warm. Sometimes a smile or a hi makes your day, grow. You never know. You might have just hit his button or made him happy, or they'll come back and start talking to you. You said hi to me yesterday, or you did this yesterday. We need to get more involved with what's going around you. You just can't be in your own little shell. I mean, you just got to be more involved. And so for me, I like being out. I like talking to people. I spent lots of time helping people and talking to them. I didn't jam cars down their throat. I tried to help them buy it. And that's the way it was. And 50 years of that, I'm trying to do the same thing, giving back to people. So
I think you're trying to mess up the flow of the podcast, Ralph. You went straight to the words of wisdom. No, we're going to come back. No, that was just fantastic. Okay. I appreciate that. I loved it. Okay. Any last things you want to say about your topic, or?
I guess. And these aren't any of mine, but like I said, be kind is a big one from Frankie Joe. I've learned that, and I've lived that. Listen to people, talk to people, appreciate your community, what you have. Oshkosh has got a lot here. Probably the last thing would be to share it. You know something, a place that you like to go, or you do things, share it with your neighbor or friends. Tell them, hey, this is a good place. And then invite them. Because a lot of times you don't know who's sitting home not having a lot of friends, or things are not going good, or things are bad.
That's so true.
I mean, just grab somebody, and it's no big thing. Hey, why don't you come on out? We're going to go have a couple of beers. I call them pops, because I'm an old person, not beers, pops. To go out, let's go out and hang out. Let's go and check this place out, or go to lunch with me, or hang out. Do something different. You can add something to somebody's life. And I do that. I try to do that as much as I can. So
I'm keeping the pops thing. That's so good. All right. We're at the time of the show. We're going to start winding down now. All right, Kosh listeners. Just a few things as always. Thank you. I always appreciate the fact that you give us your valuable time and listen. It's the best. I get so much good feedback when I'm in places and people walk up and they're just like, oh, the Kosh. Yeah, yep. And so I welcome you all. If you would like to be on the Kosh, if you ever want to give us feedback, if you ever want to let us know how you feel about the things, don't hesitate. Reach out to us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. Check out all our episodes we got a website now. We've been putting in work, y'all. The website is thekoshpodcast.com. Once again, that is thekoshpodcast.com. And what I want to share with you is, we got Kosh gear. So t-shirts, hats, anybody, they look good. I'm not playing with you. Please reach out to us at askthekosh@gmail.com, and we can make an order happen for you if you would like. I do think the Kosh gear is going to be the hot gear for the farmers market this summer. Oh, I'm calling it out.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, right, that's right. Because
yes.
what's more Oshkosh than the Kosh?
Nothing. Right there. Yeah, that's right. Yep. You got it head right ahead. Yeah.
And once again, please feel free to reach out to us. We do have a voicemail also. So once again, that is 920-385-9298. All right. Now, we are rolling into what I will say is by far my favorite time of the show. Ralph, you know what that is?
I'm not sure.
Let me help you out with
Okay.
that.
Oh,
It is shout out
shout-out
time.
Okay.
That is right. So, Ralph, what do you got for the shout outs? Who you shouting out?
Well, I guess I would shout out to my wife, Vicki Robbie Harrison. She has such a heart for animals. I mean, she's Young Living Oils, she does, but we've had so many pets, cats and dogs in our house that we support the Humane Society. She takes care of them. Any animal that has any kind of an issue, she has a tendency just to bring them back, from allergies to losing their fur. We've had so many, but she has such a heart. I mean, that lady, she'll help anyone and any animal and anything, Young Living or natural oils that she needs. So she does a great job. So
Okay. Anyone else?
oh boy, I got so many.
Oh, you can just go for it. No, don't hold back.
Don't
go
hold
for
back.
it.
Okay.
If you can think of it, go for it. Just take over.
Deb Allison, there's another one she ran. She was a city council. She does so much for the community. She's on different boards and hangs out and does stuff to help them. That's kind of a cool thing. I told you about Sarah and Kelly. I mean, those people, I've learned a lot from them in the year. Jill, if you've been over to Fox Brewery, Jill had just had a surgery on her ankle, but I never seen a person work in a bar so hard in my whole life. She's always going back and forth back. I've known her. Her folks used to own the aquarium, a pet store, way back, and I think
I
her
remember
brother,
that place.
Yeah, and but she works so hard and she does a lot of stuff. So she's kind of a cool person. But if you get in there, say hi to her. She's always at the bar during the day, Monday through Friday at Bertel's. So that's a good one. I'm trying to think of what else. I'm still always trying to promote the arena, so try to do the arena. That's such a great place to have. They've gone through different things the last couple of years, but the herd basketball, boy, was that a great season again this year.
Oh, yes.
We just missed it, and now the Bucks are going. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. So, again, stuff around that we have, we should appreciate.
Absolutely. Love it. Okay, my shout outs for this week. This week's shout outs. I just went to a scholarship banquet for Casa Hispana. So big shout out to Casa Hispana. It's amazing what you're doing. You've been in the community, I believe it's 30 years strong, giving these scholarships to these young Latinx individuals, helping them go to school. Y'all just do great work. So I appreciate all of y'all out there. Special shouts out to Myra, Adriana, and Emily, all associated with me. And big shout out to AJ Miller and Wibbick. I did an interview earlier this week, and AJ, you were just such a good interviewer. So I appreciate that. You allowed me to sound intelligent. So, sometimes you need a good interviewer to help with the flow of the words. So you were fantastic, and I appreciate the way that you handled the interview. Big shout out to Tom Cannon once again for hooking us up with that poem, The Kosh. It'll be published out there. Thank you. I always appreciate when I kind of pick on people on the show and they actually follow up and do the things. So then it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Big shout out to Emmett for letting me come in and talk to your memorials, conflict and memorials class, as somebody that has served. I love doing that, talking to the students. They ask such good questions. So any connections where we can connect with our young people and share our experiences with them only help them have better experiences is how my feeling is. And then last but definitely not least, shout out to, yes, y'all, I found a new church. My new church is Jensen's. Jensen's is my place. I am a big shout out to Scotty out there behind the bar. You are the man of men and gentlemen, and the rest of the team over there, Travis. Appreciate you and the servers and the cooks. It's just a great squad. So I'm enjoying going and visiting Jensen's. Yeah, Ralph, you may not know it. Ralph's looking at me like that don't sound like a church to me.
No,
but
I know where Jensen's is, but the church, that
yeah,
threw me off.
It's a reference of what we call our drinking establishments, our libation holes. We call them the churches because in a lot of ways they serve the same purpose. Once you're in the congregation and you know the people,
right. Yeah, for sure.
they support you. I've seen many churches churches support their congregation very well when families got sick. That your bar family knows you.
Oh, yeah.
They know you really, really well when you're part of that. So I've been looking for a new one since my old one closed down. Shout out to Cranky Pat's.
Okay.
That was my spot, and that was the former church family, and so now we've been looking for a new one for some time. But Jensen's is meeting the call.
Yes.
All right, so on to the final segment, and the final segment is parting words of wisdom, and we give you a choice, so you get two things, or you can do both. You can either give us parting words of wisdom, or you can. What would your self today tell your 12-year-old self?
Wow, that's a heavy stuff there. Okay.
You know what we're looking for? We're trying to get the wisdom out here. Every guest has wisdom, and we want to share that with the Kosh listeners.
I guess for the 12-year-old, I would tell him just there's any dream you want to do, you got to be able to do it. Anything you're interested in, you should learn and try to get as much experience and try everything you can. I think if I would look it over again, I would play more sports. But now when you get older, your body takes a pretty good beating. So get as much done before as you can and have as much fun and enjoy that sports and activities and getting to know life and getting more involved. I probably would have done more stuff earlier. Just watch out. Just work hard, and today learn as much as you can, because the more you can learn, the better opportunities you're going to have as you get going. A lot of times you don't realize that. I sat in a room where guys were talking about 401ks and retirement plans and stuff like that, and they were glassy-eyed. They had no idea what we were talking about. So learn as much as you can, find out about different things, because as your life goes, they'll be important to you later on through your life. And the way you are and the way you act is the way that's your appearance. That's what you are.
Agreed. That was really good. Yeah. You have a good time?
Okay. I love it. I love the studio. It's great to be here. It was fun, relaxed. And again, another one of those things outside your box, but it's kind of you made it really relaxing. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Thank you for being here. The Kosh.